Okay, we're back on site. I made it back all by my lonesome. The weather has taken a turn for the worse. It's meant to be pretty bad for the next few days. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a temporary shelter over the top of my cut stand and my little Christmas tree stand. Put a tarp over the top of it. I could cut in here, but things will get a little tight and all that sort of carry on, so you'll see how I go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pretty much just do a teepee style and then see if I can get the tarp to go over the top. Hopefully it works. I'm sure it will. Oh yeah. Beautiful. Because these tarps are like 9 meters long, I just rolled this end up and I just left that end flapping for the minute, but I can do the same thing, roll it up, and it's going to put one down through here now, I think. And look at that, just starting to rain. Gotta give her a bit of love, you know. Spray her right on the shaft. Alright, bit of love to the old droppy. Bit of a spray up, get her moving nice and loosely. Hee hee. As we speak, benchtop guys come to look. Look at this. Haven't actually shown you inside yet, but the kitchen has been installed. Stay tuned. I want to get some boards up first, boy. Alright, so I'm going to cut the kick up on my head flashing now. I don't like this big bulky look, so I'm just going to grab my ruler, stick it underneath the cavity closer, and just mark a little bit like this. And it's going to give me a 10mm upstand and a nice little slight angle here, and then I'm just going to trim that off with the tin snips. Just like that. I think that's going to give an overall much nicer look once we put our board in. Try and make that nice and plumb. Alright, so I'm going to now mark out my board what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down like this. I've got an offcut piece. I'm going to transfer my mark over to here. That's going to be my head flashing height. Now, be slightly different for the underneath side. Actually going to run my square along like that. Just a little mark like that. So those are it's my head flashing checkout. Now this cut here is pretty important because it's seen, so I'm going to make an accurate mark, making sure that my board is hardened like this, and then boom. So that's going to give me the edge of my head flashing. This is going to give me the height so my board can check out over it like that. Now we've got this 15mm foam insole tape that we've got to install onto the back of this board along the edge of the window here. Now I don't want to be putting that foam where the packer is sitting here. So what I'm going to do is I can sort of see that the packer sort of lines up the edge of my window, so I'm going to run it right down the edge of that. Alright, Smogo's done. I've prepared a few boards. Let's get them on. Now we're going to get our base channel flashing in. So you actually got to put the weatherboard that surrounds the window on first on this side. And then you come through and you stick your base. It's pretty much like our base flashing, but for the head, because it's pretty much enclosing the top of our weatherboard. So. On the right hand side I do things slightly differently. You can sort of see I've got my sort of board sort of marked out. I've temporarily screwed an offcut on. And the reason being is I can get super accurate marks right where my head flashing point is, because this is the most important one to make look nice. And once I've sort of got that, I can get my measurements from my base channel up to these points. And then I can also get a measurement from this here to the edge of my board, and that's going to be the head flashing cut. So yeah, nice and easy. Holy shit. I think I'm gonna have to back on site this morning. Blue skies are above us. Well, a section of it. Hopefully we don't get too wet today, but before the rain actually starts, I need to hit an issue that the clients brought up to me while they're up here over the Easter weekend installing the kitchen, which I will show you. Look at this. We've got some water egress coming in this section of wall. Now, technically there should be no water getting in through this eco-ply cladding system. And yesterday I went around and I had a look, and I found out that there was two small holes right here. Now they look like they were tech screw holes from maybe that sheet being installed somewhere when we had the tarp up and the screws went through it, or something along those lines. But we've been getting hammered over the last couple of weeks with rain coming from this direction, and I'm assuming the water has just been slowly getting through those two little holes. I'll cover them up now, but it has me concerned about the rest of the building with those holes. It just goes to show, well, we don't know if that's where it's coming from, but it seems pretty obvious. Just goes to show that a couple of little holes can create a massive issue. So I'm going to go inside and cut that softboard off, cut the wall linings off, and have a look. Now I'm going to have to get a dehumidifier in there and dry things out. But such a shame, sort of embarrassing to be honest. Should never happen. I start by removing this sheet here. What I'm going to do is, I know that I've got a nog line at 600 high, so for now I'm going to cut it off 600 high and pull this off, and then I'm hoping somehow I can find some of this board again and reinstate it, and then we might be able to sort of plaster the top of it or fill it or do something along those lines. We might be able to even put a little arris on it, but it's just going to look a little bit funny if I do that. So pull it off for now, see what's going on. I mean, look on the bright side. If we had started cladding on that side and the water was slowly getting in, this would never have had a chance to dry out, and it would just rot away. So, I mean, sort of good that it showed itself, but at the same time it should never have happened. So, definitely wet here where one of the holes is. I think this one might have been the one that was, this one might have been the one that's the worst, because the hole was slightly smaller, so it can actually have a chance to use capillary action and come in. Where you can see this one here, I guess a little bit of water came through, but it's sort of hard for the water to get pushed right the way through because the hole's too big. Which doesn't really make sense in my eyes, but that must be it. It's gone, tracked all the way along here. Nothing's come down. Look, you can't see any watermarks coming down here. It's just this part. Watermark there, watermark there. So, anyway, I'm going to cut the rest of this off and get into some cladding. What a shame. What a bloody shame. Right, so you probably noticed that I'm on another wall now, and that's because yesterday afternoon the rain was just so hectic it was just stupid to film. It was not happening. So you can see that I've sort of made my way across this window. I've come to the other side of it. Now, could have ripped this bottom board up and around the window, but I would have wasted this full panel all the way up. So I've just ripped the tag off another offcut. So I can keep this length, or whatever that is, 800mm for another board somewhere. So this is a little bit different. Normally we'd be putting our packer on, but you can see our female join pretty much runs up the edge of the window through here. Now I could have cut and ripped this board all the way around, but I didn't want to waste this 800mm for this little bit, so I just ripped this female tag off another ripping. So I'm actually going to seal the back of this first, and then just clamp it in place, and then I might even stick a nail on it. So in this spot right here, I can actually use a clamp. Hopefully it doesn't muck it around too much. I can certainly see now why we need this plastic soaker or back flashing sitting up underneath the head flashing. And the reason being is, when I put this board in, it's literally a 2mm piece of aluminium, stopping any water from protruding through this point in and around. So anything that sort of gets in there hits this flashing and runs down. I still wasn't quite sure on why we were doing that until we started installing the weatherboards, which is pretty obvious. Of course, we're still putting that big 15mm close cell tape on the back edge, just for that. And then you can see we also run it up past this point right here. So it gives that bit of protection where I was talking about that detail. Now, I need to somehow get it in there. To douche it now. Beautiful. And just like that. Beautiful. Alright, carry on. Holy heck, that is clean, baby. Far out. I'm really starting to understand how to use this product now. The do's, the don'ts. And it's coming out epic. Holy. I don't know if the camera does it justice, but I'm pretty impressed, eh? Put it up, done. You can do it by yourself too, as you can see. What another epic day. I think I'm going to wrap the video up here. Bit of a shame about that leak that happened, but hey, lesson learned from that. We will not be making that mistake again. One tiny little hole, stuffed. So make sure you stay tuned for the next episode. We're going to continue smashing out the cladding, and we'll be attacking some of these window trims and figuring that out, but plenty of hot tips and tricks to come while I figure them out along the way. But yeah, this sort of stuff I enjoy, figuring it out. So peace or deuces.
It burns.